I thought we was getting finessed. I thought we was getting taken for a ride. I say every coach, the day before they supposed to come to Nashville, they get hired. I'm thinking,
let me teach
please
you how to
don't
vibe.
let Robert Saleh get on the plane. Don't let him go to Arizona. He won't make it back. He'll stay in the NFC West. He'll never leave. We'll go call McDermott. McDermott will be like, who this? Hang up the phone, and then we stuck with Matt Nagy. That's not what we wanted. Mind you, all the coaches that's supposed to interview in the Titans got hired before they got here. Nobody's talking about Matt Nagy as the top of their coaching search. The Tennessee Titans,
let me teach you
the
how to
smoke was
vibe.
coming out, and I said, man, just don't let us get taken for a ride again. Let Saleh use us to make Arizona pay him more, and then McDermott say, I can go to Pittsburgh, or I can go to the Ravens, Nashville. You know what I'm saying? I say, just don't let us get finesse and fleece. You know, like, and it happened. Here it is, defensive head coach. I'm interested to see who he brings in as his offensive coordinator. Now, this could be the deal. I don't know how this would work, but you know, Matt Nagy may be the OC. And if he's the OC, then I got it. I can ease up a little bit. But this sounds like Tennessee valued leadership, fire, and where's D'Angelo? Where's my boy Jazz Gaming? Where is Isho when we play Jacksonville next year? There will be a fist fight before, during, and after the game. My coach can whoop your coach's ass.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
That's what I'm talking about. AFC South getting spicy. AFC South getting spicy. Let me get through this, and then we're gonna get into the comments. We're gonna start taking some questions in a second.
Let me teach you how to
Listen,
vibe.
y'all don't make sure y'all following my YouTube. All these shop talks are compressed and broke down. Throw it into the YouTube channel for y'all digestion, where you could go back and catch it if you missed the shop talk. The link to the merch is always there. Y'all want to go grab y'all some Vibe Nation official merch that is also there as well. But we here for the Tennessee Titans and his head coaching. Bro, I was about to go to sleep. I'm on here looking at stuff to upgrade the stream room. I was tired. It was a long day. And I see on my phone just started dear, because I was texting Becker, and I was like, man, I'm telling you now, I can show you the text message from Becker, because y'all know Becker is the resident Arizona Cardinal fan, and you can see we was going back and forth, and I told him at 4:54 p.m. early, I said he's not leaving Nashville, bro. Hang it up. And a few minutes ago, you see he texted me with some crying emojis and said he's not leaving Nashville. We're not getting stuck with Nagy. Oh man. Yeah, don't let him get on the plane, man. Grab his ankles. Don't let him get out of here. Yes, they listen to the fans. He said, at least y'all didn't just pick a guy. Well, I mean, like, Jeff Hafley is a defensive-minded, up-and-coming coach. So I don't think they just picked a guy. I think the general manager is fond of Jeff Hafley. Is the reason why he decided to go there. Yeah, Amon, we definitely waiting to see who the OC will be. I forgot about that, low-key a reason why he signed. Oh, for sure. We've been waiting all day, and I'm just happy that my thought process was get the coach who they feel comfortable with, could bring in the best staff. I'm interested to see who on the staff he retains. Does Bone Fossil stay? Does Denard Wilson get an interview? And most importantly, now that we have a defensive-minded head coach, who the OC coming in will be. National championship, close game. I don't know why Carson Beck decided he's gonna throw in a double coverage if I'm going to throw a jump ball in the game on the line, it's got to go to Tony. Tony got to get the ball. All right, let me hear y'all responses, what y'all think. I literally had this, that was yesterday's YouTube video, if y'all didn't see it, just so y'all can know that Shabbat Buddha does have the crystal ball. That my entire live stream literally was about this this coaching search getting down. And if you look, literally one day ago, my stream was me and Cam Ward, Robert Saleh hugging Mike McCoy. Mike McCoy probably whispered to him, "Hey man, when they hire you, bring me back, man. I'll be a good assistant for you, bro. You know, I stay down." I mean, that was literally my my last YouTube upload. So make sure y'all tapping in on the YouTube side of things so y'all can stay tapped in with your boy. All right, back to the matter at hand. This is a celebration for everybody except for Becker. What if Mike McDaniel don't want to be the head coach and want to be OC and comes to Tennessee? That would mean he didn't, like, there's a chance that like Cliff Kingsbury or Mike McDaniel don't get a head coaching job and end up being a very, very, very highly sought after OC. Could be, I don't know that, I haven't seen any paperwork saying Dabo got hired as OC. I could be wrong.
Let me teach you how to
I'm
vibe.
glad it was him and not Nagy, bro. Just got to get a good OC to pair with him. Oh, for sure. So like, they should do the contract where whoever we hire as OC, they need to get somebody that could be with Cam for 2 years. Because if they get somebody that could be with Cam for 2 years, that'll give him, you know, up until the last year his contract to fully develop with one mind. I mean, you had an OC in Miami last year in your ear. You had Brian Callahan in your ear.
Let me teach
you
you
had
how to
Bogart
vibe.
in your ear. You had 3 different people in your ear. And it's going to be a 4th person as soon as they get this staff together and start getting to work. I officially dislike Nashville. I knew when y'all moved this virtual meeting in-person interview was done. I mean, think about it, Becker. DeMarcado dropped the ball and it gave us our first win and set the stage. Y'all dropped the ball twice. Y'all have victory in y'all hands, right in y'all grasp, and y'all dropped the ball before y'all finished it into the end zone. And it happened again. Robert Saleh to Nashville, new head coach instead of going to Arizona. D4, what up? I think Cliff gets one. Though Mike lost the locker room. Do I like the hire? Yeah, I like the hire. Like my whole thought process the whole time has been get the guy with the best plan. And I didn't care if it was an offensive or defensive minded guy. I wanted somebody with some energy. I'm pretty sure by looking at Jeffrey Simmons' eyeballs on Twitter that the good thing about this is we have a lot of money in free agency. And if you have a head coach like Saleh, who's a defensive minded person, depending on who he pairs himself with as a DC, that could be something that could get some of the highly sought after defensive free agents to come to Nashville. Because like, you got to have the head coach to get the free agents, you know. So, you know, if you had an offensive minded guy, you'd be more inclined to get some free agent spins look your way, depending on who you hire. The same way it would be for defense, would be a selling point to get free agents to come. That Robert Saleh is DC, especially with him working with so many different moving parts this past year with his defense. No Bosa, no Hufanga, no Greenlaw, no Fred Warner, no Shavarius Ward. A lot of missing pieces off that defense, and that defense still overperformed this season. So it's gonna be very interesting. That just means that Mike Berganzi is who we thought he was. For a minute there, we was thinking that all of this was one big ploy, and we waited 16 weeks to get Matt Nagy as head coach, and I'm glad.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
I love Cliff, and you know why? He don't need to be a head coach. Wow. Hey, look, you couldn't find a more credible source than one of the greatest receivers in Texas Tech history in Lyle Leong to say, I don't think Cliff Kingsbury needs to be a head coach. I'm not going to put that clip out. That would not be on the internet. But, you know, if you have one of the greatest receivers to play for a school say, nah, don't do it, then I say don't do it. Look, I'm not one of these people that's on the internet that has a credible source of somebody who's a firsthand, who firsthand knows exactly what he's talking about. I won't sit there and argue. Although us Falcon fans did need a defensive mindset, I would have took him over Kevin Stefanski. I was not high on Stefanski like a lot of people was. I just didn't like. It is Cleveland, but I just didn't like. I just didn't like the energy. I like the Robert Saleh energy that Tennessee. I've been saying this since the beginning of this coaching search. The Tennessee Titans is a blue collar team. It is a small market. It is not fancy. It is not sexy. It's going to be at the bottom of TV markets. We're going to get the lowest amount of primetime games. We need to be this blue collar, bring your hard hat. It's going to be a tough physical game. We're going to play defense. We're going to hit you aggressively in between the white lines. We're going to run the football, play action, and make plays with a playmaking QB. And it seems to be that is the head coach, the leader of men type of head coach that they decided that they wanted, because that's all that's ever worked. Jeff Fisher, Mike Vrabel, Malarkey, and now Robert Saleh has his chance to put his spin on the Tennessee Titans. He gonna get the best out of the player. He has high energy, and that's what we need. I feel like Brian Callahan was like the good face that they wanted, like the nice guy, but Tennessee Titans need some aggressiveness. He said, but all to say, congratulations to Tennessee as someone who saw this man multiple times destroy us. Got a dog, give him a good OC with Cam. Y'all gonna be good. The 2026 Bears and the Patriots. I like the signing. National media will constantly remind us on how bad his record was, though. Man, T-Town Brown, man, I'm glad you said that.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Every time the Tennessee Titans get something, it's bad. When somebody else gets it, it's good. Like, they never revered Mike Vrabel when he was in Nashville, going to the AFC Championship, having the number 1 seed 2 years later. Like, they never revered Mike Vrabel when he was in Nashville. They just said it's a tough and gritty team. Now he's in New England, like it's the Corvette at the end of the parking lot that's not parked next to any other cars. It's the pretty girl at the end of the bar now with Mike Vrabel. As long as he was in Nashville, he would never be anything. He said, thanks, brother. You my guy. Oh, for sure. Man, I be having people on the internet that be arguing with me, and I be like, you need a profile picture. I need to see you dribble a basketball to the end of the street and come back. You know, I need to see you do 10 jumping jacks before I take the credibility of some of the stuff that some people say. In that case, we don't have to. He said, I appreciate Tennessee for taking Saleh out of the NFC West. Yeah, he was because just think if he still was DC on the 49ers and he get all his players back plus a draft, because they first round draft pick edge got hurt, Nick Bosa got hurt, Fred Warner go out. They had already moved a lot of defensive pieces, so like a guy like that. So I'm hoping a team like the Tennessee Titans, who had 17 different defensive backs play this season, we can get some of those free agents and go into the draft and load up and get some help for Big Jeff and get aggressive. Makes more sense now to get Breece Hall. I don't know about the Breece Hall. Like if y'all go back and check, I usually do like every couple weeks I do like a draft and free agent board. When I looked at it, I mean, Tony Pollard is going to give you 1,000 yards. He's getting $9 million next year, but only $2 million is guaranteed. Tajay Spears on the last year's contract, and they just drafted Khalil Mullins last year out of Michigan. You know, you got Julius Chestnut and Amarius Mims on practice squad. I personally would rather draft a late round back. You know, Bears got Kyle Monangai. Chiefs got Isaiah Pacheco. You see Woody Marks on the Texans. It's a lot of teams that can get late round value out of running backs. I just don't know about paying a premium for Breece Hall and then still having to eat a cut and send Tony. Hey, nobody's gonna trade for Pollard, so it's like it's kind of a situation where like how much better than Tony Pollard would Breece Hall be if you having to sign him and put money to him? Why not let Tony Pollard run on a contract year, Tajay Spears run on a contract year, have Khalil Mullins, and then take a late round back like Jamari Taylor out of Virginia. You get that guy in the 6th or 7th round. I really like Raleek Brown, but he wound up going into Portland and going to Texas. Henry out of UTSA. It's a couple of backs that'll be around in that 6th, 7th round that I think you could just throw in the rotation, because last year after the bye week, once the line jailed and they decided to run the football, they ran the football like at like a top 5, top 10 clip down the stretch. So to me, I just don't see the value in spending $8-10 million on Breece Hall when you're gonna have running backs running for their careers next year on your team. That let's say you drafted a late round back and you let Tony Pollard run hard into the trade deadline and then dealt them to a team that needed a veteran running back. Then you have the end of Tajay, you have Khalil Mullins and whoever else you get. I just don't think spending money on Breece Hall would be not at the top of my priorities. I'd be more willing to take a chance of saying like there's Kyle Pitts or Isaiah Likely you could pair with Gunnar Helm if you're not going to re-sign Chig. Chig had such a productive year that he's probably going to make $10 million this year. So, when you get to $10 million for Chig, you got to say I'd give that money to Kyle Pitts or Isaiah Likely. Be a little bit bigger and more dynamic in that way, because Ken Ward needs people with catch radius. People want to dog on Saleh's future, a tenure in New York, but every year he was there, he had a top 5 defense. Man got saddled with Zach Wilson and passed his prime Rodgers with a crappy OC Hackett. I mean, I don't even buy into the Robert Saleh in New York had a good defense. His offense was what it was. But I mean, look at everybody else who left New York. Sam Darnold left New York. Geno Smith left New York. Aaron Rodgers left New York. Maybe it's the Jets and they
let me teach you how to vibe.
Their owner is walking around like Joe Biden, getting lost and not knowing where he is. Rabbit, what up? Now Arizona needs to be on the full court press on Kubiak, McDermott, or one of the Rams coordinators. Now I ain't gonna lie, McDermott and Arizona sounds pretty solid. I ain't gonna lie to you. It'll be a change of pace from him being in New York to being on the West Coast. Big Jeff, you know how I'm feeling. How you feeling, Biggie Smalls? Relaxing in Benz. Listen, man, we feeling real good. We feeling better than the Cowboys right now. Getting Robert Saleh. Ain't no Jacksonville Jaguar came in here because they know it's gonna be a fight when we play the Jags. Oh yeah, that's good. Hey, look, that might be. We didn't get no primetime games this year. Jacksonville Jaguars, Tennessee Titans in prime time. I need to see the post game handshake. Said let's all out the door today. Should have signed it. Now it's time to get McDermott. Ocho, man, you must ain't heard the news. It's the reason why we going live in the middle of the night. Robert Saleh is working the deal, my brother. This ain't just some picture. This ain't just some AI. This is Adam Schefter. This is Shefty. You feel me? This is Shefty. You feel me? I'll take McDermott and have him turn it around like he did Buffalo. Now y'all tell me this is like a big topic that we've been on. 11 is on the board. A lot of people fired coaches that are at the top of people's coaching list. There's going to be some guys like Brian Daboll who are NFL coach of the years who are going to wind up being OCs or DCs. Do you think this is the shakeup that the NFL needed? finally somebody dethroned the Chiefs and now the whole NFL shakeup, or is this just a situation of people panicking because Mike Vrabel goes to New England and is probably going to go to the Super Bowl year one? Ben Johnson made a run his first year. Sean Payton hasn't been on the Broncos long and has the Broncos with a number 1 seed. Mike McDonald goes to the Seahawks after Pete Carroll flips them, has a number 1 seed and is right up there. Is that it? Because LaFleur was fringe. He got the kiss of death. Got the contract extension. You get a contract extension as a coach, that's usually the kiss of death. So this is gonna be interesting that like nobody is safe. If the 9-year, 20-year, 19-year coaches getting fired, then it's basically saying if you hire somebody and they spend the money in free agency and hit the draft, that you got a short window to win and make something happen. Thorpe Jr. tighten up. Jags out here hiding. How we feeling about Saleh? We feeling good. Like we just didn't want Robert Saleh to leave us at the altar and go to Arizona, and then we call McDermott and he hang up in our face and we be announcing Matt Nagy in the morning. I'm happy with Robert Saleh. I just want to see what staff that he puts together. It would have been an embarrassment. Let me go on record and say this, because y'all know Shabbat Buddha is the most unbiased personality when it comes to the teams that I like and the teams that I support and the teams that I follow and make content about. If the Tennessee Titans we have demoted and taken away play calling responsibility from Brian Callahan and fired him after the Las Vegas game, only to wait 16 weeks knowing that we had a coach, knowing that Mike McCoy was not going to be the heir apparent behind Brian Callahan, that he wasn't going to get opportunity to coach this team. There's no way you wait 16 weeks, get fleeced by everybody that you interview. You interview Jason Garrett, you interview Mike McCarthy. They lied about saying that they didn't. There's some Titans media beef about saying that they took a meeting with Mike McCarthy before this process all started of this coaching carousel, and they flew out and had a meeting, unofficial meeting, that this was the first official interview. But I mean, come on, like he's out of coaching, and you've been knowing you're gonna need to coach for 16 weeks. At the end of the day, if we're interviewing people that's been out of football, and then the guys that say that they're interested in your job all take jobs the day before they come to see you, it's saying that, and it's other coaches that you had 18 different coaches in your coaching search, and you come up with striking out at everyone and ending up with Matt Nagy, a coach that nobody's reaching for. The Chiefs let him go to get Bieniemy as OC, which is saying that the Chiefs believe in Bieniemy way more than they do Nagy. And they homeboys, it just tell me everything I need to know there. That could have been one of the worst coaching fires to fire him after demoting him, to wait 16 weeks, 4 months, and come up and strike out in the coaching search. That would have been awful. Thursday night football, Jags Titans. Oh, that'd have been crazy. Vrabel is an anomaly. I mean, is that a thing? Like when Vrabel takes a job, he's gonna get to the conference championship game. That same year he did it in Tennessee, and now he's doing it in New England. Almost 1/3 of the teams are gonna have a new head coach in 26. Picked a horrible time to need a new head coach. Here, yeah, I definitely want to see who he picks as his offensive coordinator. That's definitely gonna be important. Matt, appreciate the follow. He said your Panthers deserve more primetime games after we showed where we can hang and drop with anybody. Yep, they took that meeting back then. What's good, Joe? How the fam doing, bro? What record does Saleh need to have to keep his job? I mean, it's like Aaron Glenn last year had a horrible year. They're picking second, but I'm not really concerned about his record. Like from a Tennessee Titans standpoint, Patriots won 4 games the year before and 4 games last year. This year, they're in the conference championship. Doesn't like the Titans went 3-14 back-to-back seasons. I don't need them to get in the Super Bowl next year. I need that the first week when we get to Denver, that we're not running screen passes on the 5-yard line where all 3 receivers are blocking. I don't need to see 17 different defensive backs play in the secondary next season. I don't need to see the Tennessee Titans not have quarterback sneak in their playbook until like week 9 and get stopped on so many 4th and shorts because they don't physically have quarterback sneak in the playbook.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
I don't need 40% of Cam Ward's passes to be behind the line of scrimmage. I need to see an aggressive team that is not have the most penalized offensive tackles in football. I need to see a team that physically matches up. That's what I want to see. Like, the record is gonna solve itself. I mean, the Chiefs is picking top 10 this year. Commanders was in the NFC Championship last year. They're picking top 5. You know, it's some teams. You know, the Ravens did not make the playoffs. You know, like it's like the Bengals haven't made the playoffs for 3 consecutive years, and Taylor kept his job while Harbaugh and Tomlin lost their job. So you just got to put that in perspective of saying, like, do we see a competitive football team that looks like an actual football team, or do we look like what Brian Callahan sent out there the last 2 years? You know, so, you know, Tennessee Titans, I'm not finna sit here and say we finna win 14 games next year and be in the conference championship. I'm saying I need to see a team that looks like they're well coached. I need to see a well coached, organized football team next year. That is its stability on offense, defense, special teams. Like, Bones Fossil from Colt Anderson was night and day. You went from the worst special team units in football. Like, do you not realize the first year when Colt Anderson was there with Brian Callahan, there was a statistic: the Tennessee Titans could kick the ball out of bounds and get an illegal procedure to start every kickoff, and they would have the same exact field position as how the special teams unit was performing. So, like, every team got the ball at the 40 on average when they played with Colt Anderson as special teams coach. Fast forward to Bones Fossil, year 1, you take a rookie to the Pro Bowl as a returner, and you know, you just have a better overall special teams unit. That's what we need to see with Robert Saleh. Is I don't need to see cornerbacks falling down or Jonathan Taylor having 300-yard all-purpose games. I need to see a team that is not highly penalized, that looks like they have an identity and know what they're doing on offense and defense. I don't need to go almost 2 years without a 100-yard rusher. You said Saleh kind of looked like Vrabel low-key? Nah, Robert Saleh looked like Xerxes on 300. We good? How about yours? Everybody good, man. We just trying to make the best of every day, communicate with one another, love one another, and stack days. That's it. I wonder, are more offensive or defensive coaches winning Super Bowls? He said the Arabic Vrabel. To be honest, like, when you think about the Super Bowls, last year the Eagles was like a defensive minded football team. Now, they're talented on offense, but there was a defensive minded football team. Every other year is the Chiefs and the Patriots. You know, it's like those Chiefs and Patriots teams had, like, to me, they had top 10 defenses every year. People may have seen Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, but their offense is pedestrian with a superstar at quarterback that just know how to get people the ball. I would say that those teams' defenses perform well. Rams, you know, they had Matt Stafford, Super Bowl year, Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham, but we talking about arguably the greatest defensive player of all time, Aaron Donald, you know, and Jalen Ramsey and all the people that they had, Von Miller, they had goons on defense. So I think you need somebody that could do both. But if you do have a defensive-minded head coach, you have to have a really good OC. Like McDaniel going back to New England with Mike Vrabel is like you got two head coaches on your team, basically. Every time the Patriots win the Super Bowl. He said, does this mean Bane at 4? You know, I've been seeing a lot of Titan people that, and this is weird. There's Ruben Bain and Arvell Reese, David Bailey, Keldrick Falk, top edge rushers in this draft. There'll be Titan people that'll be like, Ruben Bain's got short arms. And I'm like, he's too short. And then I'm like, Dwight Freeney was 6'1", 260, and he's Dwight Freeney. Like either I can watch this guy game wreck every team in the playoffs and all season long, a guy that can play inside out, or you know, we're gonna say we're gonna reach for a wide receiver at 4, not named Jeremiah Smith next year. I mean, personally, if you go on my YouTube and look at my draft board, I got Ruben Bain at 4. If you don't like an edge in Ruben Bain or Arvell Reese, I say trade back and get some extra picks. Cause I don't see anybody else in that top 10 that jumps off the board that say I gotta have them. Said Titans need weapons to throw to and build chemistry with. True. And it's a lot of good receivers in this draft. And the Titans gonna have like $110-115 million in free agency to spend. I just don't know so much about, you know, having to really reach to get a pass catcher. Get Nick's Holtz out of there. Yeah, man, I don't want to see no more orbit motion handoff. I can't stand the Tennessee Titans fans begging to not get Nagy. They don't hire Nagy and everybody complaining. That's all I've heard since this announcement. I haven't heard anybody say that. Everybody did. I ain't connect. Like, I'm in a Tennessee Titans media Twitter group and we just be going back and forth all the time. I'm going to be honest. Everybody was out on Nagy. I would have understood if they was trying to reach and get McDermott. You know, only thing about that is like Harbaugh finessed you. Everybody finessed you. You get to the midnight hour, you call McDermott, he hang up in your face and Saleh signing in Arizona, and then you're stuck with Nagy because Jeff Hafley went to Miami today. So Matt Nagy will be better than Mike McCoy or Brian Callahan, but we've been looking for a coach for 16 weeks. I just cannot believe that if back in December they had a meeting with Mike McCarthy, they had 18 coaches on the board, and we've been knowing we need a head coach for 16 weeks. If we get finessed and leveraged by every person to interview with us and we end up with Matt Nagy. So I'm happy with Saleh. I think it's a solid hire. I think if you would have said coming into the playoffs, who is the fiery, energetic coach that a lot of people was high on, it was Robert Saleh. So I think he's a pretty good fit for what Nashville is, which is a blue collar team. People got to stop thinking of Nashville and the Titans as like the Chiefs or, you know, the Cowboys or something. Like we're not that fancy team, bro. We the hard hat, blue collar, F-150, 1500 Silverado. Like we're not the Porsche. We're not the Corvette. Do I think Robert Saleh keeps Snead? I think Snead is focused on his legal situation because, you know, he's been indicted for allegedly being the driver in a drive-by shooting. Honestly, his legal situation hangs way further than football, honestly. You know what I'm saying? It's not about if Saleh wants to keep him or not. It's more of Mike Bergonzi saying, I can cut him and I'll get my $8 million back. if the legal situation keeps him away from football. Which, me being a human being, I hope that he's innocent and this is something that is fabricated and he's exonerated on all charges. You see what I'm saying? Like, me as a person. Now, if he did do that, he gets what he gets because you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. Like, there's no way I got a $76 million contract and I'm a former Super Bowl champion with the Chiefs and I get myself caught up in something like that. I need the Cardinals on the take note of what Miss Amy did. She heard the fan base ready to revolt if Nagy was hired as head coach. It'd be Will Harris, Vance Joseph. He's already plummeting. The season ticket sales will be even worse. And then on top of that, before March, y'all will be trading Kyler Murray and Fernando Mendoza will be in Las Vegas. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Hendricks was good. He said we better treat Saleh right. Sad to see him go, but I'm glad he gets an opportunity where he deserves it. Wonder where Mike McDaniel goes. It's interesting because you got Mike McDaniel and got Cliff Kingsbury, and they haven't been hired yet, and they are the offensive gurus that's out there with Dabo being dangling around them. But I know mentally a lot of teams that haven't hired a coach yet have to be thinking about Kubiak on the Seahawks, that he'll probably be, highly sought after. What are the Bills gonna do? Will Joe Brady get a chance to interview in Buffalo and move up to head coach, or will Joe Brady be somebody's OC? Now that McDermott is out, it's all interesting. We've never seen this many head coaching jobs open, and I told y'all the thing that I keep my mind on is you're not just hiring a head coach. You're hiring a head coach, a OC, a DC, and a special teams coach. So for every person that's hired and for every person that's fired, there's 4 people. So, Brian Callahan is interviewing for OC. Denard Wilson is interviewing for DC. I haven't heard Bones Fossil being interviewing anywhere. I think Bones Fossil will stay in Nashville, but then you still need an OC in the DC. And some of these OCs that are free now are interviewing for jobs. And then, it could be like the Saints. The Saints waited last year and Kellen Moore won the Super Bowl with the Eagles and then took the head coaching job of the Saints. So it's like, it could be somebody waiting for one of these OCs or DCs that are still currently playing to get a head coaching position. So it's all interesting to see how it unfolds. But that's why I say, if you're the Titans and you do interview, if a person gives you a plan of, I want this guy, and this guy, nobody was planning for 40 some odd jobs to be open and need to be vacated to be filled. Some guys could have interviewed in some places, and the people that they was going to bring in are actually not even possible to get on staff. So, for them to hire Saleh, they had to know who he planned to have as OC, who he plans to have as DC. And it could be a situation where Bergonzi, the general manager, is saying, hey, I know you can't get this guy, but what about these options that I feel like we can bring in? Because maybe you're interviewing 18 people because 8 of them you want to be a position coach as an offensive or defensive coordinator, but you're just getting your interviews in to kind of see the direction that they want to go, to see what matches and don't match. Makes you wonder what they would have done if the 49ers won. Well, then again, if the 49ers had beat the Seahawks, then Kubiak is on the board. Kubiak's phone was going to be blowing up. I don't think he would have lasted 24 to 48 hours before he got a job if the Seahawks lost. Just glad he didn't go to Arizona. Would have been another Jet situation. Hopefully we can get a good DC to replace Saleh. Dabo to the Bills to make Josh Allen happy. Just hope again. I got what's with Wilkes. Oh man, what a night! What a night, y'all. I promise y'all, I was like, man, do I want to live stream and just chill? This is like the night before Christmas. I'm like, but what if we get, cause y'all know Harbaugh got announced at like 10 something at night. I was like, what if they release Robert Saleh didn't get on the plane to Arizona and is hired as head coach? Cause I'm on Titans Twitter like this, like, like just waiting to see. And then just as soon as I was about to make a decision, my phone just started literally going. I was like, up, shopping 5. It's all calling plays or the CEO type. But see, that's what Brian Callahan wasn't. He was calling plays for the first time, and he wasn't used to the CEO role. So hiring an offensive coordinator that didn't call plays in their last spot, I think it was too much. Not knowing that Alec Aomaner's knee counts as 2 feet on that 30-yard catch early in the season. That would have changed the tide of that game. Not knowing the timeout situation before half, costing us a 10-point flip in the Broncos game to start the season. Not having quarterback sneak in the playbook the first 7-8 weeks of the season cost us. It's certain things that not being able to manage the actual game, getting a delay of game after calling the timeout on a kick before half and then missing the kick, and giving up a kick the other way. Like that happens. Stuff like that just happened way too many times where like they would get turnovers. They would get penalties coming off of timeouts, and it was coaches' decisions, like type of things where like you get in the press conference and you can't explain why you made certain decisions or why you didn't know certain NFL rules. Robert Saleh, you been waiting to. I think all the Titans fans was kind of waiting nervously, like, man, did we get finessed again? And was he using us to drive up the price in Arizona? Does anybody really not want to be here? And then that doubt start creeping in, and then boom, there it is. Bro, I really was hitting. Bro, you don't know how many times I hit refresh. Saleh's gonna call plays on defense for sure, and he's gonna CEO. I truly believe he's learned from his Jets and being a coordinator for Shanahan. Definitely learned how to multitask while leading like a true leader. That's why I like when you get a new fresh coach in. I like being able to get coordinators who are former head coaches. Like Vrabel don't have to worry about the offense at all because McDaniel has been a head coach. So like everything offensively, he can pretty much relay. It allows Vrabel to worry about down and distance and game planning. Can't wait to see Saleh fired up after a stop. Been hitting refresh on Facebook all night. And then too, I also want to see who he brings in as OC. What free agents decide that they want to play in Nashville because Saleh is there. What we do in the draft. Now that we kind of have a direction of who will be the leader of this team. It's so many things now that like this was if y'all follow my season board, it was head coach, sign and re-signing period, direction of the draft, which we had a really good draft this year, and then you got the June cuts and coming into the summertime of who they'll be able to go after and add to this roster. I did just hear Berganza was leaning towards Nagy and ownership didn't like that and ruled in Saleh's favor. I don't know how true that is. Teron Davenport put that out. Yeah, TD. Shout out to TD, man. TD always had that solid info. That could be clickbait. If it came directly from TD, it's not clickbait. It's solid information. Now they were meeting in that. I did see that Amy Adams Strunk was in Nashville in these meetings, and she might have not been wrong. People dogged out Amy for the Brian Callahan fire, saying that she was making a rash decision, and then lo and behold, we all realized that was the best thing to do. Get to the bye week, and the Tennessee Titans competed like a different football team the second half of the season on all 3 phases. So with that being said, if she said, hey, if we're gonna move Chad Brinker out and let Mike Berganzi run the show for head coach, we've been down this road before with Rand hiring a guy that's friendly and gets along with everybody. Maybe Amy Adams Strunk is the person that brought in Mike Vrabel at the time, and maybe she's saying, nah, I'm the owner and I'm a roll with this one. I don't want you to hire who you're comfortable with. I want to bring in some fresh energy. And it may actually work. Because you can't get mad at her for not making decisions. And then when she makes decisions, you can't get frustrated at the decisions she makes. I think it's a good decision if she overruled Nagy that we waited 4 months to have a cast a wide net. And then Jason Garrett worked with Mike Berganza's brother and you interview him for God knows other than reasons. Now see, when they took the meeting with Mike McCarthy back in December, that's who they should have been taking a meeting with was Jason Garrett. He should have been the one with no official interview. You know, you bring in all these coaches that have been out of football, and then the ones that you do want, like you're not even getting to interview them because they're taking a job before they get there. You know, it would be a bad look if you waited 16 weeks to hire Matt Nagy. So she might. I agree with Amy in this situation. We're going through exactly what y'all went through. 1 and 2 interviews with Halfley and Saleh. Both got jobs before it could happen. Man, I'm so excited for the future of the team though. I know Jeffrey Simmons and Cedric Gray and Amani Hooker, you know, some of the defensive guys are excited having a guy like Saleh. I just hope that Berganza can bring in the right free agents and hit on the draft class to where the Titans will be a fun team to watch again. Makes you wonder what he's thinking, honestly. But also, it's his first time, so it's like that's why I even made a pod. I even made a pod about it, bro. I'll show y'all on my YouTube, like probably about a month ago, and I was saying that the mistake the Titans had been making in a situation with their head coaches was the GM and the head coach wasn't tied. So when the GM and the head coach isn't tied, by them finally allowing a pecking order by saying that Mike Berganza is going to spearhead the search for a head coach was the first time we got some definitive answer on who's going to be calling the shot. So with that being said, we know Chad Brinker has Green Bay ties, and we know that Mike Berganza has ties to the Chiefs. So I was asking that question right there on that podcast a month ago. I was literally asking, yo, is this a situation where somebody's relationship with somebody they worked with before weighs heavy? And was Berganza saying, if I'm gonna be tied to the next head coach I hire and my job depends on it and I'm gonna get fired, I'll go with somebody I'm familiar with. So that's why I like if Amy did in fact step in and say she was more leaning towards Robert Saleh, maybe there should have been a situation that happened last time with Rand Carthon hiring Brian Callahan, because everybody was so blinded by something that they was comfortable with that you didn't notice there's a head coach, and there's a head coach is his first time calling plays. There's a head coach who wasn't even calling plays as an OC on the last team he was in. He hired his dad as an O-line coach and run game coordinator, and his best friend as OC, who got skipped over by Bo Hardegree, the quarterback coach, to call plays when Brian Callahan got fired, which Holtz was his first time. And then you had Denard Wilson, who was a first time DC, and then Colt Anderson. So it's like, you can't, maybe somebody with a little bit more tenure should step in if you're seeing another mistake being made. I mean, the Chiefs didn't make the playoffs this year, and they didn't extend Nagy, even though his ties to Andy Reid. And then no sooner did they get rid of him and release him and not re-sign him, Eric Bieniemy is over there. So that was their plan all along, to let him walk. A person that a team doesn't even want to be a OC or call plays for them could not come here and be the first person, the biggest fish we have. Because is there any other team that's actually looking at Nagy for a head coach? It's not even a guarantee that the team is really looking for him to be an OC and actually call plays. This is the guy who couldn't make the offense work with Patrick Mahomes. So it's like, I don't know, bro. And then that's like one of the teams that we did beat. So it definitely was not a good showing. He said some poor organization about to end up with Nagy and be miserable. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? People is getting left at the altar. No emotions. What up? Just tag you in the Twitter post. McDaniel may be a very real possibility at OC. Brother, I'm going to sleep like a baby if there is a Robert Saleh, Mike McDaniel marriage. He said, but Bergonzi should have known that, though. That's what makes me think. Does Bergonzi know what he's doing? Not saying I don't, but why you want to bring him in? But you also got to think, when they hired Bergonzi, they brought in Reggie. They had Chad Brinker. They basically hired like 3 GMs at once and then promoted Chad Brinker. So, with Burke Nahill being there, the Titans really have like 5 GMs. So it could have been like a boardroom decision type of thing of like, you have the strongest voice, you gonna actually put pen to paper, but we don't think that's necessarily a good idea. Because the Tennessee Titans is about to have a new stadium. So if I was Amy Adams Strunk and I'm gonna have a new stadium, I would put it in my GM's ear that we're gonna have a fiery coach. Our best player is Jeffrey Simmons. He's coming off the best season of his career, the best interior D lineman in football, and he's excited. That may be what she was thinking. And here's a coach that hates the Jaguars coach. Like, it immediately brings something that the Titans don't have, which is media fire and some respectability, because we lost our respectability with the fact that Mike Vrabel was let go, and now he's probably finna go to the Super Bowl. That AJ Brown was let go, and he went to 2 Super Bowls. That Derrick Henry was let go, and he's had a 1,900-yard season and a 1,500-yard season on the Baltimore Ravens. The respectability has went down, and I think Robert Saleh is a coach that can bring it back. Now, if you put McDaniel with him at OC, I'm really going to, I might pop a little bit.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Just a little bit. I'm humble, but I might pop a little bit if we have Robert Saleh and Mike McDaniel with with Bone Fossil at special teams coordinator coming back. The Browns looking at Nagy. Can the Browns get any worse? Man, talk to me, Hendricks. McDermott would have got hired if he wanted to come to the Titans. I think the Titans called him and he didn't come. Saleh wants to be in Tennessee. That would have been tough because they interviewed Nagy and Saleh today, and then McDermott news came midday, and then that would have meant you would have had to be like on the couch with your wife, texting and sneaking to the bathroom to call your girlfriend. That would have been tough for them. And then if you do that, and Robert Saleh feels like all the from like the early reports that Schefter reported, that if both sides got along so well on the interview between Saleh and the Titans, and then they slipped and called McDermott, and the news goes out that they called McDermott and McDermott hang up in their face, then Robert Saleh gets on the plane to Arizona and don't come back, and then you really are hiring Matt Nagy. But if you McDermott jumps to the top of the list of available coaches that, you know, if I'm Baltimore, I'm like, hey, like you went from Josh Allen to Lamar, bro. You're not missing. Because glad to hire Falcons hire Stefanski. That's the W coming. I will say I'm getting tired of being used as leverage. First, Sean Payton did it with Denver, and now Saleh with Tennessee. I mean, that happened to us like a couple of times before we just got to sign. Marky Mark was the Vaz